All right. Well, hello everyone. I apologize for any technical difficulties we might have, but we are the Suburb roller coaster team, and our attraction is called Stargrove Labs Snakeroot Escape. So I'm Harris. I am the attraction manager for this coaster project. I also worked a lot on the actual coaster ride design itself, and importing that into No Limits Coaster.
My name is Matt. I'm the creative lead and concept designer for the attraction.
My name is Jared Walker, and I composed the music for the onboard soundtrack and helped design the ride.
My name is Jared Martin, and I was a ride and safety engineer.
My name is Ethan Capello, and I helped with the ride operations as well as design the queue and building layout.
And Kylie Stamey was also part of our team, but she was on the safety team, so she has her own presentation that she'll talk about tomorrow in terms of ride safety, but she also helped us out with our coaster.
So welcome to Stargrove Labs. Let's begin our escape. At Stargrove Labs, high-tech greenhouse facility, humans are being recruited to look after a rare plant called the ruby snakeroot. After a brief training, you are quickly warned of an intruder breaking into the facility. Will you catch the thief and return the plant to Fairy before it's too late? This is an ambitious idea, and we decided to capture it using retro-futurist architecture, as you can see in this beautiful concept art provided by Frederick Kayers. And it's imposing and grand. It's very futuristic, but almost retro greenhouse. And through this design, we showcase the plant life within through a faux greenhouse facade and the greenhouse dome. But above the greenhouse dome rises a UFO type watchtower, which alludes to the high security and protecting the valuable plants within.
So Snakeroot Escape is the highest thrill attraction at the whole Stargrove Park. So this would be an RMC Rocky Mountain Construction hybrid roller coaster. So we'll be using their steel iBox track technology along with a wooden support structure. It'll be an indoor and outdoor roller coaster experience with the dartboard portion as well as a high thrill outdoor section. And this will be using linear synchronous motor LSM launch technology on a hybrid coaster track, which is actually the first time this has been implemented. RMC has done a launch coaster on their topper track wooden coaster track, but never on a hybrid coaster. So this would be the first launched hybrid coaster. And it would also be the first Rocky Mountain Construction coaster to travel backwards and use track switch and a reversing spike element that we'll get more in depth about later.
I am Dr. Nosrak, the head researcher here at Stargrove Hydroponic Labs.
She sounds kind of familiar. This is Dr. Nosrak. She's based on a character designed by Bailey Griffin, so thank you, Bailey. She's an alien scientist who is researching the ruby snakeroot plant. She's recruiting humans to tend to the plant, which produces a gas that is toxic only to aliens, meaning that humans are the only beings who can look after this plant. She's kind to the humans, but has some strange mannerisms, because this is the first time she's worked with humans before.
And this is our other character. This is the punk teen. Thanks to D'Angelo Reyes for the voice recording of it. The punk teen is the antagonist of our attraction, and his main goal is to attempt to steal the ruby berry from the dangerous ruby snakeroot in one of our show scenes. Some characteristics of the punk teen is that he's menacing, small, and agile, and he's also very mischievous, and they aren't afraid of like a little danger, a little crime.
So our ride vehicle, which is called the Propagator, is inspired by retro-futurist visions of farming and the streamlining movement of the 1930s. Flowing lines, fin textures, and chrome accents are features we wanted to include. The ride vehicle went through many iterations before our final design. Initially, we went for more of a streamlined car look. However, after consulting the downtown coaster team, we realized that a more farming related vehicle would be more appropriate. So we took inspiration from tractor tires, futurist vehicles, and retained the previous streamlining inspiration. This is our final design. So the propagator takes the form of a hot rod tractor with 2 futuristic tires and shiny chrome accents. The design shown is the front zero car only, and the other cars are RMC trains with a glossy red finish, with watering tools attached to the sides, which are supposedly activated in a dark ride portion of the attraction.
All right, so this is the queue layout. As you know, as the same with all Stargrove attractions, we want to immerse our guests in the queue as best we can to get ready for the ride. So one thing that we want to incorporate is that we have a plant carousel with different types of alien plants that rotates above the guests. This is kind of similar to Droid Depot at Galaxy's Edge at Disney. And then another cool thing is that we have a pre-show. You could probably see it on the very left of the page. I don't have it labeled, but there is a pre-show that's where Dr. Nosrak will be talking about what you're going to expect on the ride, like what the tour is like. And then we also have a cool locker system where you can open your lockers and put your stuff in on one side when you enter the ride, and then when you exit the ride, you can take your stuff out of the locker and then exit through the queue. And then this is the ride layout. As you can see, on the left side of the picture is that this is our building design. And then in the right, that's like the blueprint of our ride. And that whole huge white building with the blue dome in the center, that is our building. And then the blue dome will be where the Ruby Snakeroot will be. And then as you can see on the very right, there's also a small green building. This will be another show scene, most notable for when the punk team tries to steal the Ruby Snakeroot berry. And then that little red building over there next to that track, that's going to be where the spike is, where the coaster goes from reverse to back forwards. So yeah, that's the ride layout.
Great, and I created a unique piece of music for our coaster's onboard audio. It combines acoustic and synth instruments to create a natural, futuristic feeling, just like I think an alien greenhouse would feel. First, I came up with the main theme on piano. Here's the original demo. And then I built it up into the song that it is. Just like on a real roller coaster, it's split up into 5 sections, which is triggered throughout the ride to make sure it's always lined up. And the music includes a lot of little details. We're going to look at 2 of them right here. So first of all, in the backwards portion of the ride, I really wanted to drive home that backwards feeling, so I actually included reversed percussion sounding instruments. So you can hear that and how it fits into the song. I also have another instrument that kind of hides in the background throughout the whole ride, and it goes up and down just as the roller coaster itself goes up and down. Great, so you can listen for that and many more details throughout the POV, which we're going to watch right now. If you want to watch it later, you can visit the link at bit.ly/snakerootpov. It's on YouTube. All right, so we're going to watch that.
Hello, this is Dr. Nosrak. Welcome to the Stargrove Labs greenhouse. Pretty impressive, don't you think? Let's get to business and test out those propagators. Water sprinklers, 50% blast. Excellent, you're good to go. It's time to send you toward the Ruby Snakeroot. I'll meet you in the next room. Let's get you headed to the other end of the greenhouse.
An intruder? No, no, quickly get to the Snakeroot.
Here's the Snakeroot in home. Be careful inside and don't touch anything.
Security to Sector 5. It looks like the plant has caught our thief.
Great job, volunteers. I think you've earned the rest of the day off. We'll have these other humans take over your shift now. Thank you for visiting Stargrove Labs. We hope to see you again soon.
Great, now we're going to look at some of the specific coaster elements that were part of this ride. So first we had a launched lift. It includes a chain lift sound so that people don't expect to be launched up. We also have a wave turn, which is a 0G element. We have a few 0G rolls, including one while you're going backwards, which is right there, and another one over the queue entrance. The reversing section includes a show scene that has a puff of purple poison gas as guests are launched backwards. The dueling section is unique in that one train is forwards and one is backwards. And there's a Top Gun stall, which is right there, that has a trick track airtime hill underneath. We also included a banana roll as one of the highest elements in the ride. And it finally had the fast track switch, which includes a vertical spike that has a unique airtime bump for the back few cars. Harris, in the next slide, will explain more of the mechanisms and safety of this specific ride element.
Yeah, so one of the most unique elements of this coaster is this high-speed track switch. So this is relatively new technology. I believe the first implementation of it was on the Hagrid roller coaster at Islands of Adventure that opened last year. So everyone's seen like Expedition Everest and other coasters where the train will come to a stop on a block zone, and then the track will slide into place, and then the train will reverse directions. That's sort of what we have to travel backwards in this attraction. But to return to forward motion, we actually perform a track switch while the train never stops moving. And the way that we're able to do this is using the double functionality of linear synchronous motors, LSM launch technology. So the train is going to cross over this transfer track going backwards where the white arrow is. And the green track actually has magnetic launch to speed the train up and launch it up that spike. And while all this is happening, the speed of the train is being carefully controlled by magnets. And so that track switch is able to slide while the train is still moving. This is about a 6-second process that the track has to disengage, slide, and then re-lock into place. So ideally during normal operations, this will happen. The train will proceed back down the spike forward, be launched again up to 60 miles an hour, the ride's top speed, and launch back across that track switch. But in the off event that there is some kind of mechanical failure with the track switch, that it isn't properly aligned in that quick amount of time, those LSM magnets are also capable of stopping the train before it reaches the track switch. And then the train will sort of stop in that underground valley area that you saw before in the POV. So that's our sort of fail-safe mechanism to allow for this track switch to happen while the train remains in motion. So here are a few technical statistics of our ride. We're at about 5,600 feet of track, which would make this the second longest Rocky Mountain construction coaster built to date. It's slightly shorter than Steel Vengeance at Cedar Point. You notice the drop of the ride is slightly higher than the maximum height because of that underground tunnel that we saw on the spike. So the ride has 3 LSM launch sections, but because of the dual functionality of that spike launch, it's actually able to use the same set of stators on the track to launch the train twice, which is how we get to that 4 launch number. And we also have 25 track crossovers, which is a large number because it's a very compact ride. And sort of on the capacity side of things, we have 6 trains, and each of these are sort of the standard Rocky Mountain Construction 24 passenger train. But we have something that's not standard, is a dual load station. So you see these on a lot of rides that Disney builds. So that if you assume that the train takes 70 seconds to be dispatched from the station, we're actually able to send a train about every 34 seconds. So this would give us a theoretical hourly ride capacity of about 2,000 guests per hour, which is very high for a coaster of this size.
So looking at our project, we wanted to take it a little step further and really emphasize safety and operations and accessibility. So to do that, we actually created a safety and accessibility manual. And the cover is seen on this slide here. And the cover kind of simulates what you might see in the front of a ride inside the park, inside Stargrove. So this manual includes ride info that would be displayed outside the attraction or maybe on the park app. But we were sure to emphasize our adherence to standards on this attraction, from ASTM to ADA and everything in between. And you can see some of those guidelines here. Diving in, a large portion of what we focused on in safety and operations was on accessibility. Like I mentioned, our goal was to expand accessibility to make our ride more inclusive so that everybody could have a fun but safe experience. With that in mind, we were sure to design a queue, seen here on the right, that met ADA guidelines to allow for accessibility for all guests up to and including the pre-show. From the end of the pre-show, seen where the green begins on the right, our differently abled guests can go up the unload ramp at a safe grade and then can load from there. When loading, these guests have the opportunity to transfer to a special ADA car, which, like similar RMC models, has wider openings for easy boarding. And these cars also feature a special feature not ever used on RMC trains before, which are harness clips. So yes, harness clips. Our park, or our ride specifically, will feature a harness-enabled system to change the limb requirement to make it easier for more guests to ride. If certain guests normally wouldn't be able to ride due to a previous limb requirement, a harness would enable them to do so. They would just have to get one from guest services, put it on, and they could be clipped into their seats. We are proud to include this supplement because it drastically changes the limb requirements and ensures that guests are able to ride based on actual medical definitions. And this is reflecting a changing perspective in our industry. On the other side of accessibility was safety, and this is also included in our manual. We were sure to have our entire ride and the model we made stick closely to ASTM F2291 and other standards from ASTM. This includes acceleration limits, like the graph you see on the right. You can see our ride reaches maximum forces of 4 Gs, which is safely within the ASTM recommended plot on the right. Similar steps were taken to ensure guest safety in all facets, from fencing to mechanical redundancies and more.
All right, so looking into the future, we have many aspects that we can consider if we want to build this ride in real life. So one is the track switch specifically. That's probably the most important one. The track switch needs to be made light enough so the train can go through and so it can switch quickly. And there also needs to be a mechanism so it could lock into place within 6 seconds, because Rocky Mountain Construction has never done something like this before. So this is definitely something new for the industry. Also with the onboard audio systems, this has also never been done to a Rocky Mountain Construction ride before. And onboard audio requires speakers and a computer system, and this would make the train heavier. So that may also affect the ride. Also, we have noise pollution to a neighboring restaurant. So with the restaurant nearby, we would need to make a noise cancellation, something that will cancel the noise on the ride. So it will be quiet for those eating. And then some other ones include evacuation routes, LSM power generation and cooling techniques, and operating speed variations due to weather, weight of train, wheel materials, and etc.
We'd like to say a special thanks to these people, starting with Sochi for starting STEP and making summer out of this world. Nick for being a great professional mentor, Frederick for his amazing concept art that you can see behind me and you saw at the start of the presentation, and of course everyone at STEP for bringing Stargrove to life.
Thank you so much, everyone. I just wanted to personally say thank you to all those people that Matt mentioned. But sort of to wrap things up, here is our attraction poster that Matt did. We like it a lot. We think it's pretty awesome. Hopefully you enjoyed our presentation. And thanks for visiting Stargrove Labs.